Hello and welcome to Used Car Heaven, where we give you the opportunity to drive a group of cars in a class that you want to buy into. Plus, we'll have used car buying tips in the trading post, and the car doctor will be on hand to dish out advice on nursing your poorly motor back to perfect health. So who is this week's lucky car buyer? Meet Mike. He's a 34-year-old chauffeur from Manchester and is looking for a new luxury limo to carry his passengers around in. It's going to be pretty demanding, it's got to be big, comfortable, luxurious and, of course, utterly reliable. Not short of a bob or two to spend on it with 35 grand, there should be quite a choice. Mike, welcome to the programme. Now, change of car coming up for you. Why?
Well, basically I work as a chauffeur, so I carry poor people about. And so I need something comfort, some luxury, something to do a lot of mileage.
It is a work tool as well, of course, so it's got to be completely reliable, but also your customers want something that looks a bit decent. They don't want to see you turn up in something tatty, so a bit of prestige.
Yeah, that's quite right.
So it's got to be something a bit nice. OK, we'll find you something decent. We've got 3 suggestions. Let's go and have a look and see what we got for you. And car number 1 is a Jaguar S-Type. Great brand, of course. Are you a fan of Jags generally?
Yes, I do like Jaguars.
And the S-Type, I mean, some like, some don't.
Well, I mean, Jags are well known and I do like it.
So your customers will be happy if you turned up.
Yeah.
Well, this particular one is a few years old. It's on a V-plate. It's the 4-litre V8, so it's got loads of power. So you'll get there in time for your meetings. And it's for sale at $18,699, so it's well within your budget. I mean, if this does the job...
I can buy 2 of them.
You can have 2 things, exactly, so that'd be quite good news. All right, well, that's car number 1. Let's try car number 2.
Yep.
And we go straight from being well within budget, Mike, to, well, quite a lot over it. This is about just over £38,000 for this gorgeous Mercedes S-Class. Very nice car. And what do you think of Mercs, first of all?
I like Mercedes. They've got a good name.
And the S-Type, of course.
Yeah, S-Type, yeah, luxury.
This is the new one. Very, very different to the previous. And what do you think of the new one?
Well, the old ones were very square, very boxy, and this one's got some nice looking curves on it.
Yeah, for what is a big car, it manages to be very pretty and really quite sporty looking. I'm sure it would fit the bill, but it is pretty expensive. Yep. So that's number 2. Let's check out your third option over here. And the third one is from a prestige brand, obviously nothing but the best for you, Mike, but it's from one that isn't that well known yet in this country. Lexus is the LS430. What do you think of Lexus, first of all?
They are classed as chauffeur cars, and you say that's what I'm looking for. Looks a bit deceiving. It looks a bit deceiving.
Yeah, I know, the looks are a bit unusual, but look, Mike, you will find in there every conceivable extra and gizmo to keep you and your customers happy, honestly, and entertained. It's all in there. So it is quite an interesting and different choice from the other 2. But whichever one of these you go for, you're going to spend an awful lot of time in it, driving it. So I guess the test drive is particularly important today. So let's find out what you think. Right then, Mike, we're off in the Lexus first of all, and straight away I've got to clarify one thing. Usually your clients are in the back.
Sit in the back.
Right. Are you all right with me sitting here?
Yes, I'm fine.
It's not going to make you nervous or anything because you're used to an empty seat. OK, fair enough. Obviously, your point of view as a driver, I mean, how many miles do you do a year? How much driving do you do?
Yeah, we're talking around about between 20,000 to 50,000 miles a year, maybe even more.
So, given that you do that many miles, what do you actually want from a car, purely from a driver's point of view, from that seat?
From this seat, like vision, so you can see the whole road in front of me. Power, quietness, which is most important, especially passengers fall asleep and you don't want a noisy vehicle.
So, in the Lexus, first time you've driven one of these, what do you think of it?
Inside, it looks nice. It's plenty of leg room, everything's here, you got navigations, your dashboard's lit up well, everything's shown, everything's to the eye. I think it looks actually fine. The woodwork.
Which is a bit of a contrast to the outside.
Outside, yeah.
We're well aware we're in a really ugly car at the moment.
Yeah.
So what about the actual drive of the thing? How does it feel?
It actually drives quite nice. It's smooth, it's very quiet as well. It says it feels very looks great.
So it's got that luxury feel, which you really do need. And actually, as a passenger, I've got to say, it is almost silent.
Yeah, it
I
is.
can barely hear it's running at all,
Yeah.
and it is a very, very soft and comfortable ride.
Way back in 1989, Lexus launched their first luxury car onto the market. Yes, it really was all that time ago. And it's no understatement to say that they took the motoring world by storm. And they put the frighteners up the likes of Mercedes-Benz and BMW, who before that had had the luxury car market all to themselves for their S-Class and 7 Series range. But here was a new upstart from Japan, the LS400, who would do things right. Now, if you had to buy this car brand new, it would cost you over £53,000, but for a year-old example like this, with a low mileage, you're probably looking at spending £46,000 or £47,000, still an awful lot of money. So what do you get for your cash? Well, just about everything apart from the kitchen sink. Back here you sit in the lap of luxury with fantastic seats. There's acres of space. The seats are electric, they move back and forward, and they'll give you a massage at the same time. You can have controls back here for the climate control and the stereo system, which is also fantastic. Other standard features on the car, you've got satellite navigation, you've got a TV, and should you at some stage have to actually drive this car, it's actually quite good to drive.
Well, Mike, the big Lexus, the first of our 3 suggestions for you. You've had a drive. What do you think of it?
First thought, I thought, no, don't. It looks a bit deceiving.
It's not very pretty, is
Not
it?
very
really?
pretty.
No.
But inside, it's very comfortable.
Yeah.
A lot of leg room, plenty of gadgets.
It's got everything
It's got
on
everything,
there, pretty
yeah.
much. And it is a fantastic ride.
Yeah.
Maybe the looks will grow on you?
Looks will probably, yeah.
Given a lot of time.
yeah,
All right.
they will do.
Well, that's only the first one of your 3. We've got the Jaguar and the Mercedes still to drive. We'll have a go at that. But before we get to that, the surgery is open, and our car doctor, Simon Hughes, has advice to dispense on keeping our cars healthy.
Nissans, to me, are like an old friend in that I can rely on them and they don't let you down. And I even remember as a young boy hanging around car auctions that traders used to say, buy a Nissan, son, because they'll always get you home. And they did. But I'm sorry to say that Nissan Micra K11s have got a slight incontinence problems in the back wheels, and it's something we're going to look at. The brakes on the back of the Nissan Micra are brake drums and shoes, and they're operated by the wheel cylinder, and it's this little baby that's starting to leak brake fluid. Now ultimately that'll lead to brake failure because all your fluid is going to run out, but long before that happens it would get picked up on a service or by the low brake fluid light on the dashboard. Now if your car is up to 3 years old, it'll get replaced under warranty, but if it's over that you're going to be shelling out yourself. So the sooner you look at these the better, so that you can maybe get away with just replacing the cylinder before the brake fluid has attacks the linings. Because brake hydraulics are a safety related item, I don't recommend that you mess around with this at home, but it's not that big a job to take into a garage and pay for. So don't lose faith in the old Micra, because remember, it is an old friend after all.
Thank you, Simon. Now, earlier on in the programme, we met Mike, who's got £35,000 to spend on a new car to use in his work as a chauffeur. Well, he's already driven the Lexus, and lined up next, we've got this, the Mercedes S-Class. But before we let Mike loose in it, Ian Royal joins us with the lowdown.
In the luxury car sector, the badge on the front of the car usually says a lot about it. And in this sort of market, the 3-pointed badge on the front of a Mercedes-Benz S-Class usually means that this is the best luxury car in the world, or so they claim. In magazine tests, inevitably the S-Class generally comes out on top over rivals like the Lexus or the BMW 7 Series or the Jaguar XJ Saloon. But if Ford were to produce a luxury car costing £50,000 or £60,000 with a Ford badge on the front of it, nobody would buy it. But is the S-Class really as good as they say? Well, yes, I suspect that it probably is. Sure, this S320 isn't as lavishly equipped as the LS430. In other words, it's not got all the toys and goodies on that that car has, but it could have if you delve deep into the Mercedes-Benz option list and pay through the nose at the same time. This car wasn't exactly cheap when it was new, £51,000 for this 320. But now 2 years on and with 20,000 miles on the clock, this could be Mike's for less than £20,000. There's bags of power and refinement and room. It's a good car to drive. There have been whispers that these cars aren't built as well as the old Merc S-Classes used to be, but it's hard to tell. Inevitably, if you're spending this sort of money on a large luxury car, you want to buy the best. And the Mercedes-Benz S-Class is the best.
And so, our second car for you. Whereas the Lexus you really weren't sure about the looks of, this, the Mercedes S-Class, you actually quite like. In fact, I saw your eyes light up when you first saw this car.
Yes, I would do, yes. Mercedes, isn't it?
You love them, don't you?
Yeah, I like Mercedes, yeah. They're elegant, stylish, and generally I think they're also good chauffeur car.
It's very different inside, though.
Yes, it's darker. It's not as roomy as the Lexus.
No, it certainly doesn't feel it, does it? The Lexus is quite light, airy. Very modern. This is a bit gloomy by comparison, isn't it?
Yes, it is, yeah.
From your point of view, from the driver's point of view, I mean, is it good enough? I've got to say, this is the 320, it's not the 500, the really powerful one. So it's less powerful than the Lexus.
Yeah.
Is it powerful enough or too weedy?
No, actually, I mean, my line of work, you don't go for power. My passengers need a smooth, comfortable drive.
So then, Mike, it's £38,000. It's very expensive. What do you think of it?
It's a lovely car to drive. Comfortable, luxurious, but price-wise...
It's an awful lot of money, and
it's
it
a bit off my
does
budget.
look gorgeous. And
Yeah.
It's a heck of a thing to drive, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
And do you reckon your clients would be happy in
Yes.
the back of there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be happy in the back of there. I should think they should be happy in the back of there. All right, well, formulate your opinions on that. We'll get towards the end, because don't forget, he's driven 2 of our cars for this week. There is one more to drive, and that is the Jaguar. And we'll get to doing that after the break. So we'll see you in a few minutes. Hello and welcome back. Now, Mike is a chauffeur and he joined us here on Used Car Heaven in his quest to find a posh new motor to transport his A-class clientele around. And we do pride ourselves on this programme on working pretty hard to provide some hot choices. And I reckon with these 3, we've done just that for Mike. But now Ian Royal joins us with another alternative, something just a little bit different.
Now, Mike may be perfectly happy to spend up to 40 grand on a Lexus or Mercedes, but what else could he consider? Well, I think I have a really good solution. A car that cost over £100,000 when it was new, but now comes within Mike's budget. And it offers even more luxury and elegance than the Merc or Lexus could ever do. I'm talking about a Bentley. Something like a P-Reg Bentley Turbo R. Now, this is one fantastic car. Inside, it may not be as technologically advanced as the other cars, but it's a work of art. Finest leather and wood trim. It's all about the ambience, and there's nothing better than a Bentley. The main point, though, is about buying a 5-year-old car is to make sure it's sound. It will most likely have done upwards of 50,000 miles, but as long as it's had a proper service history, it should be no problem. Under the bonnet is a 6.75-litre V8 engine, which sounds fantastic. Bentley would never officially say how much power the Turbo R had, but it's well in excess of 330 brake horsepower, which means it's a quick car, 0 to 60 in around 6 seconds. Now, this sort of car would still be new enough for main dealers to carry, and these cars at the right price sell well. Better, though, to go to a specialist dealer, where the car will still have the same attention to detail, but should be cheaper to buy. Now, if you're not sure whether you could justify buying a Bentley, ask yourself this. Would you rather drive around in a trumped-up Toyota that costs over 40 grand, or an elegant, hand-built and crafted Bentley Turbo R? I know which I would choose. Maybe Mike will think the same.
Yeah, Ian, thanks. Bentley. Well, it's posh enough, no doubt, but I don't know, maybe you're guilty of over-egging the pudding a little. I think Mike should go for one of these three. He's already driven this, the Lexus LS430. He thought it was big, ugly, and competent. He's driven the Mercedes S-Class. He thought it was beautiful, fast, and very expensive. But now, his third alternative, this, we're off for a test drive in the Jaguar S-Type. Carry on. So our third and final car, and this is, it might seem a bit odd for you, this Mike, but there is a reason for it, and it's just to chuck something different into the mix, because the Lexus is bang on your price range, the Merc is a little bit over, and this is well below 18.5 grand.
Yes.
So it's a bit different.
Jaguar's a big name anyway, it's a nice British car. It does feel a little rattly, it feels a bit tinny as well.
I guess when you're looking at a car, it is really important, the comfort for you, the driver.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you leap in and leap out, you could be in it all day.
Yeah.
So what makes a big difference?
I mean, with me driving, I says I need that space, I need the comfort, I need the seat to be wrapped around me. The seats could be better. I prefer the seating position of the Lexus. The Mercedes, again, probably up class at second best on this one. Probably comes third. Yeah, it's not comfortable for me.
The transformation of Jaguar cars in the past few years has been nothing short of remarkable. It wasn't that long ago that cars were dreadfully unreliable and they only had 2 models in the range. Then in 1998 they launched this, the Mega Retro S-Type, onto the market. With the looks of the Series 2 cars from the 1960s, the S-Type has been an unqualified success for Jaguar. Now, although Mike may have up to £40,000 or so to spend on a new car, he might not want something quite as big as the Lexus or the Merc S-Class, and might want to save himself a few pennies as well by buying the lot cheaper Jaguar S-Type. This 3-litre SE automatic, when it was new, would have cost £33,000, but now on a W plate and with 30,000 miles on the clock, this car could be Mike's for just £20,000. Which is a substantial saving on new and way cheaper than the Lexus or the Merc S-Class. Sure, this car may not have quite all the toys and the goodies that those two have got on it, but when you're saving yourself that sort of money, who cares? Inside, it's all the usual Jaguar refinements, lots of wood and leather. May not be to everyone's taste, but personally I like it. And surprisingly, the S-Type is roomier than the bigger XJ saloons.
So then, the Jaguar S-Type, it's a lot cheaper. What did you think?
It's a lovely car to drive, very pokey, it's nice looking, British car, but it's not for me, I think.
It's not quite as A-class,
it's
is
not
it?
A-class.
Oh
A bit
well.
plasticky.
Well, it was worth a try.
Yeah, it
it's
was
a
worth
lot
a
of
try.
money off.
Yeah.
Well, look, the moment of truth is nearly upon us, and we'll find out which one of the 3 we've driven Mike's going to go for, and we'll do that after the trading post.
So you've located a car that you're happy with and you feel it's genuine. It's always good to check the car's history. First thing to ask the person you're buying the car from is the logbook of E5. Make sure that the name and address is in the logbook, because if it isn't, that generally means that they're a trader, or they'll come up with some excuse that they've just moved house or something. I mean, if that's the case, then it's nice to check the car a little further. Secondly, chassis number. Make sure that that chassis number corresponds to the car that you're looking at. But don't just check the aluminium plate that's located on the slam panel. Make sure that you check the one that's actually stamped on the car's body. And the MOT. That's also got the chassis number on it. Make sure that that corresponds to that and to the car. And these can be forged. So it's always nice to check the watermarks. Hold them up against the light, make sure that they're correct, just like looking at a £20 note. And if you can, ask if the person you're buying the car off has got all the old MOTs, because this will also help make sure that the mileage is genuine, because every MOT has got the mileage on it. Service history, one of the most important things as well. Make sure when you look at the service book, find out when each service interval was done. This will also check that the mileage is genuine, and it'll also make sure that the car's been well looked after, because each one's stamped with the history, where it was serviced, when the cam belt was changed, etc, etc. And finally, make sure that the car's not got any finance on it or has been involved in any accidents. Now, there are a few companies that advertise in the local car magazines who will do this for you for a small fee, and believe me, it's well worth it.
Thank you, and there'll be more tips from the Trading Post next week on Used Car Heaven. Now then, Mike, this is it. We gave you a choice of 3 rather posh motors. You've driven them all, you've tested them, you've thought about them. I want to know in reverse order which one you're going to reject first. Which of our 3 posh motors is not for you?
I'm sorry to say it's going to be the Jag, first one to go. Even though it's cheap.
Really?
Yeah.
Half the price of you could have had 2, and it's such a lovely thing to look at too.
I'm not that greedy, I don't want to.
And it wasn't right.
No,
This
it
way it
wasn't.
was sporty. It was
It's
the quickest of the
sporty,
3.
But no, it wasn't for
Not
me.
quite enough
No.
luxury.
No.
Not quite big enough for your posh clients.
No.
Oh, well, never mind. OK, so the Jag's out the running. What comes second?
I'm sorry to say the Mercedes.
The Mighty Merc.
I know.
You've rejected it.
Gutted.
Some say it's the best car in the world, but there it goes.
over my
No good
budget.
for you. Well, Mike, never mind. That makes it fairly obvious then that coming first, number 1, your choice is a big old Lexus. That's the one for you?
Yeah, that's the one for me.
Really?
It's all pretty looking, but
No.
it does the job.
It does everything you
Yeah.
want, and it's posh enough for your posh
and
clients.
it's,
Well,
it's within my budget as well.
I think it's an excellent choice, and thank you very much for coming
Richard.
on the programme. Do you want us to wrap this, or will you just wear it home?
I just wear it home.
Take it as it is.
Yeah.
I should. Well, thank you very
Thanks
much,
very much.
Mike. That's it for this week. Join us next week for more real-life car buying tips on Used Car Heaven. See you then.